Hi, family. First, let me say, as the black sheep in the family, you often feel like you are alone. But let me tell you, there's a lot of us that are black sheeps. We deep. We got a whole army of black sheeps. And if you are the black sheep in your family, say, I am here in the comments. Let the other black sheeps know that they are not alone. There's a lot of us. Come on in, come on in. This is a safe space for you to land. I am the black sheep of my family as well. I am here. My assignment today is to help you understand why you are the black sheep in your family, and also I will be providing you with some tips to help you along your journey. If that sounds good to you, grab some tea and let's get started. You may not have been treated the best by the individuals in your family, and maybe because you put them in a position of authority, you believe the lie that they have told you. But let me tell you today, let us unlearn the lie. You are not the problem, you are the solution. And what is a solution? What's the definition of a solution? A means of solving a problem, or dealing with a difficult situation. You are not the problem, you are the solution. You are sent here to deal with a difficult situation. Even though, I know, it's hard. It's hard being a black sheep. I spent many years healing my trauma, my wounds. I have scars now. They probably will never go away, but they are not wounds anymore. It took me many years with my life coach. I spent 5 years with my life coach, and I spent 3 years with the trauma specialist. I got a neuropsychologist. All things work together for the good of them who love the Lord and who are called according to his purpose. All things work together. So it doesn't matter how bad it was. All of that, God will use all of that and put it together and make it work together for your good. Watch and wait for the Lord. He will work it for your good. Believe him. I was born in Jamaica and I came to the U.S. at 5 years old, and I lived with my father and my stepmother. At 5 years old, I boarded an airplane by myself with the accompaniment of a stewardess. Traumatic. I remember very clearly my first night in the United States. When the night came and I did not have my biological mother there to tuck me into bed, I became very anxious. I would look out the window, and across the street I could see a bus stop just on the corner. And I knew in my child mind that she would have to take the bus in order to get to me. So I would look out the window and I would cry for her. And I would hope that she would come. In my child mind, she had always been very aware of when I was in pain. So of course she would come. But on this night in particular, I was met by my stepmother, and she would beat me. These nightly beatings continued for a couple of weeks before I learned how to let the emotions come up and just cry silently. Because in my mind, I knew that my mother would still need to know that I was in pain, that I longed for her. She needed to know that. I often wonder, why was my father not the first one to come to console me, being that I was so new to this country. Everything was new to me, even the side of the street that they drove on. It was so traumatic to me, and all I wanted was some comfort, some reassurance. There was no attempt to console me. Now, children sometimes can get a little fussy at night, which is understandable, but the lack of empathy, the lack of attunement, the lack of understanding of my needs and my wants did wound me. This lack of attunement to my needs and my wants continued as I got older. I noticed that I was targeted out of all of my siblings. They enjoyed kind of like catching me off guard. I'm surprised that I didn't grow up and have a little twitch, like a nervous twitch that sometimes people have from trauma. I'm surprised that I didn't have that, because I would get caught off guard all the time. Like I would just get slapped. Maybe I'm sitting too close to the edge of the bed, or too close to the TV, just out of nowhere. I would just get abused in that way. So why were you the black sheep of your family? I'm glad you asked. Maybe you fall into one of these categories. The black sheep is the one that is often the most empathetic. The empath, the highly sensitive individual, usually falls into the category of being a black sheep. So often, individuals who have a high amount of sensitivity get a bad rap, being called too sensitive. But sensitivity is a superpower. It's actually a great thing. Can you imagine if Jesus wasn't an empath? If Jesus wasn't sensitive? Jesus was highly sensitive. Can you imagine if Jesus had no sensitivity? Your sensitivity is a gift. It is a magnet. The people who are the most sensitive are also the most creative. Did you know that? Sensitivity equals creativity. Maybe in your family, your sensitivity is not viewed that way. Next, you might be the black sheep in your family because you are the individual who has the greatest amount of potential. The one that can go the furthest, can be the most successful, and they don't like that. You can go the furthest, you can do the most, and you have a great amount of potential. And in a toxic family, they don't like that. I'm reminded of the story of King David and how David would often spend a lot of his time alone, even though he had 7 brothers. David, in his alone time, was killing a lion, was killing a bear, and then ultimately he ended up killing Goliath. This was all practice for him ruling as king. But another thing that David did in his isolation, in his alone time, was David wrote poems. You're familiar with King David's poems. They are in Psalms in the Bible. Psalms was written by King David. I don't know what's your favorite Psalm. Some people like Psalms 91, 93, but that was all a result of King David and spending so much of his time in isolation and not fitting in to the family. But him not fitting in provided a great solution. David's life has blessed so many people. David's life has been so moving in his Psalms that you turn to and read in times of need and times of struggle. He was not the problem. He was the solution. And you, my love, are a solution. When it came time for me to graduate from high school, I noticed that there was never a conversation with me about what college I was going to go to. That conversation was never said. Can I tell you why perhaps it was never said? I have a stepsister that is the exact same age as me, so we both graduated at the same time. I just thought to myself, like, how was my parents going to afford for both of us to go to college at the same time? Like, I don't think it's going to happen. I didn't even try to get into a good university because I knew that it wasn't going to be possible for me to afford it. My stepsister went off to college. They helped her. I stayed at home, went to community college, got a job working in the cafeteria at the community college. So I would take classes during the day and work in the evenings. Would take 2 buses and a train just to make it back home. Paid my own tuition, signed up for a payment plan. Did it all myself. Do you think that they were proud of me? Were they happy for me? No. Do you know what would happen? Some nights when I come home, the door would be locked. Not only locked, they would put a chain over the door. Some nights, I would just sit on the patio and I would just cry. Because it was one thing not to help me. It was a totally different thing to put obstacles in my path. I would later move out a little bit after my 18th birthday. I couldn't do it anymore. But they look at me as if I'm the villain, if I'm the bad guy. Let me tell you this, family. God is a just God, and He is always on the side of those who have been treated unfairly. He is on your side. If they have treated you unfairly, you serve a just God. He will balance the scale. Not only that, He will tip the scale in your favor because of what you have been through. He is a good God, and we believe Him. All you got to do is take the hand that you have been dealt and give it to God and say, can you help me win with this hand? Because He has let so many people win with the hand that they have been dealt. And He will help you win with the hand that you have been dealt as well. He will help you. Next, the black sheep is often the person who does not fit in. I didn't fit in at all. Not only did they not understand me, but physically, I'm 5'8", and I'm taller than everybody, including my father. I stood out like an avatar amongst humans. I just didn't fit. Next, the black sheep is often the truth teller in the family. The one that's not afraid to say, something is wrong with this situation. Something is wrong with the way I'm being treated. Something is wrong with the way you're treating someone else. You're not afraid to tell somebody, this is not right. The black sheep in a toxic family sometimes can be the one that is truth teller. Next, the black sheep in the family is often the individual with the most God-given light. So God gave you maybe a greater amount of light. You shine a little bit brighter. You illuminate the rooms that you go into. You shine. You have something about you, and it's that God-given light. Last but not least, the black sheep is often the one who has the greatest amount of discernment and is possibly a seer. Your discernment might be top notch. So while in the process of getting this video packaged up for you, I was reading my Bible and this scripture jumped out at me. And I want to tell you what the Lord says, okay? For I say to you, many prophets and kings wish to see things which you see and did not see them, and to hear things which you hear and did not hear them. It is a gift, okay? Many people have desire to see life as you see it, to have the rose-colored glasses pulled off their eyes and to see clearly. It is a gift. When you're the black sheep in the family, you can see what is the generational curse and the generational trauma that's being passed down. Pretty much like this picture here. You can see how it's being passed down, but someone has to break that chain of dysfunction, and that someone is you. So if you find yourself as a black sheep in the family, let me offer you some help. First, you can contact me at chosenwinners.com for a 90-minute Zoom session where I help the chosen ones to win. I use my spiritual gifts, I use my discernment, and I help you to find a path that is suitable for your life, that God has for your life. chosenwinners.com. My gift to you is a 30-day self-love calendar. It's free at chosenwinners.com. The second tip is that you might have to limit the amount of time that you spend around your family. Holidays, birthdays, set your clock for an hour, get in, get out. And depending on how you feel after that interaction, if it doesn't drain too much of your energy, if it doesn't make you feel bad, you can adjust the time that you are around them as need be. If that doesn't work for you, tip number 3, let them know that you have an issue with how you're being treated. And if this doesn't change, you're going to have to not come around as much. You want to at least let them know you plan on get gone. Tip number 4, if nothing changed, then go no contact. I know it's very, very hard. I've done it. I've been no contact with my family for 4 years. Sometimes it gets challenging, mainly because of my nieces and my nephews. But I rest assured that once they get older in age, maybe they will seek me out. And I hope to be in a position where they can all come and live with me if they so choose. But it is hard. You might have to go no contact. Just saying. You might have to do it. Tip number 5, go online to a platform like Facebook and find a support group. Find like-minded individuals that you can connect with so that you don't feel so disconnected. Find support. Get connected. Find other people, healthy, let me say this, healthy individuals to connect with. And you can find that very easily on some of these platforms like Facebook. Tip number 6, pray and ask God to send you more soul family members, like Ruth was to Naomi, like David was to Jonathan, or Jonathan was to David. You want to be more in line with those God-given connections, you want to ask God to send those people who are assigned to helping you. And if you feel like I can help you and I'm one of those individuals that you feel connected with, chosenwinners.com, where I help the chosen ones win. If you made it this far in the video, you have an amazing attention span. Shout outs to you, because where attention goes, energy flows. So you keep put it right on up. You keep focusing the way you do. You keep, zoning in on what you're trying to learn, what you're trying to do. You keep your focus. You're doing a good job. If you made it this far, comment below. I am the solution if you made it this far. Thank you for allowing me to speak into your life. Thank you for allowing me to help you on your journey. I hope that this video has been beneficial to you. I hope that you see something different in your perspective. I hope that you learned something. I hope that you have eaten. You feel some kind of nourishment. You feel encouraged. You feel strengthened. Know that I am here with you. You are right here in my heart. And I love you. Now go out there and do awesome things. Because you're the solution, baby. So get to work. Love you. Have a good day, okay? Bye for now.